2 and a double with a bit of quarter, 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 when I get 2 and a quarter, behind that, I'm 2 and a half, with 75. But you're out on the 275 and now 300, when I get 3 and a double, food, I'm going to show you more, when you buy another, when you get 10. And I'm going to get 54, when you buy. $10. Bargain of the day. $10.
My name is Cookie Lockhart, and I am at the location where I grew up, where we rented saddle horses when I was a kid, and my dad and my brother were both auctioneers, and so I became an auctioneer when I was in my 20s, and I never looked back. We are right now getting ready for an auction because we have sold the home place here, and we've been here, well, it's actually been in my family 80 years. I am the first woman that was ever inducted in the National Auctioneers Hall of Fame. And you might have seen me way back, or you might have seen it on YouTube. I was on To Tell the Truth in the 60s.
My name is Cookie Lockhart.
And American Pickers was here a while back, so you might recognize part of the property here with the wagon wheels and that. And they keep showing it, and I've heard from people all over the world. Okay, when we had an auction such as we had 2 weeks ago where we sold big equipment, we might be selling real estate or antiques, it doesn't matter. We register all the buyers, and these were the numbers we used. When someone comes up to our cashiers, they get out the driver's license and they register, and then all day they bid as the auctioneers are selling, which we had 4 auctioneers selling at that sale. But as the person bids, they'll hold up their number. We have a clerk writing down number 43, just bought lot number 18. You know, it was a tractor, and it's sold to bidder number 43. So when someone's ready to leave, they come to the cashiers and they say, "What's your number?" And the guy says 43, and they go, "Okay," and they look up how many things 43 bought, and if he has a tax ID, if he's tax-free or not, he has to have that information with him. And then the girls check it out and they print out a receipt, and he pays with either cash, check, or credit card. And sometimes we take cash.
My name is Cookie Lockhart, and Steamboat Springs, Colorado is my hometown. Okay, this is the corner of 11th and Yampa, right behind where we rented saddle horses. And of course, there was not only, certainly wasn't sidewalks, but this was just a dirt road. And I grew up, of course, right on this river, and we were, there wasn't many people around walking because there wasn't a bike path. You're in the movies. So they kayak on there, they inner tube, they fly fish. I don't know how they keep from running into each other. There's so many people on it half the time.
I've seen you before.
Yeah, where'd you see me?
I saw you on
I know.
either Pickers. Was it Pickers? Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to come down here, and I had a baby brother that was ill, and he couldn't sit up or eat very well, so he loved fish, so I would come down here and sit and hold my pole until the fish come along. I never could stand those little wiggly slimy things, so I would go running back to the house with my fishing pole with a fish on the end of it. My dad had to take it off the hook. So I sold the property, and then obviously had to get all of my things out of there and get it sold. And so I had a lot of goodies. It just makes sense to me to sell it at auction and get it done and go on to the next project. The people bought it in May. Then I only had a very short time to get ready and get out. I guess we had about 3 weeks total.
Oh, I found a penny.
Holy cow, now we're in luck.
On heads too.
Oh, great, we found a penny. We can solve it now.
It did cause a lot of stress, and it's one of those auctions. Sometimes an auction just runs really smooth, and other times you can do everything you can and it doesn't.
I was just looking, can we figure out any place else to put those dressers? And maybe we could either have these guys or somebody right quick clean these floors. Because while we've got these guys, if we could unload that truck, it would sure be better.
For sure.
And at that point, we can let people look.
I was going to spend some time advertising here and get it in the paper.
Nice job on the fridge. Well, I can work on moving stuff around and organizing it up.
Well, so these are the things that are really in the way.
I have another idea.
Good.
In that garage space that's not being used, we won't need a tent if we can fit all these items in there.
No, but no, I thought we needed a display.
Display,
Smaller items. I thought that's what we were trying.
oh, the table, yeah. Well, we could even
No, I mean,
set the table in there and have the doors open and set some items there. But that's also all dependent on the weather, you know. We can look into the weather and see what it's looking like and
Charlie, it hadn't rained most of the summer, and it rained 5 days in a row. So we had a big mud mess, and we had to rent a $3,000 tent, and we hauled in gravel, and you know, there was just a lot of things that went wrong. And I realize when I have auctions for other people, and I sell a lot of estates and that kind of thing, like I said, they're usually at a crossroads, and I realize they go through a lot of stress. I've always known that, but I never did it myself. I never actually went through that stress myself. And we've got some space out here where we could put some shelves and some of the smaller things on it.
yeah.
And if we just got the table out of the way, we could line up this smaller stuff.
Right. We can make it work.
I kind of want the floors clean first.
Yep. So we have to get all this out of the way. We can
For
start
the
by.
most part.
I'll get the guys to help me move these items out. Just get out of the way. Yep. We'll take that out. These books. This table.
You don't want to lean back on that chair if you sit in it.
Do you know from experience?
I do know from experience, I almost fell out of it backwards.
Can we use a chainsaw to get this through the door?
Yeah, and there was girlfriends that came and helped. Well, Camille is another gal that helped tremendously. There were just several gals pitched in that were friends. I had an auction and had to leave for the weekend, a couple weekends before our auction. So she held it open, and we had people, you know, we advertised and people could come by and look at what they might want to buy and see what we had to sell. So she held it open, she shined all the glassware and vases and all those kind of things, her copper, and she was just amazing. And Donna Lufkin came, Sheldon came, and I made a place for him to stay there on site for over 2 weeks. That's the nicest, bestest, beardest guy I've ever met in my life. He's worked his tail off for over a week. And Sheldon, we got to give you a hand. Thank you so much.
Cookie, to tell you the truth, when he went to work for Cookie, all the hair was up here, and Cookie was going like this. And
right through, true story.
And that's what happened. And he did a lot of cleanup and lining up and moving things around.
We're selling antiques over here for Cookie Lockhart.
And then, of course, sale day, then that's a whole big crew.
Here's a $20 table. Pretty much everything on this table starts at $20. It can go up to $50, $100, $300, who knows? This table's negotiable. Hey, if you like it, maybe we'll just give it to you.
Hey, you guys, did you know about this story? Well, because we have a lot of Roy Rogers things here, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I put my baby brother in my dog buggy when I was about 6 years old and left to go live with Roy Rogers. But I only got 2 or 3 blocks from home and they found me.
Oh, Kevin brought his semi-trailer, and he ended up spending hours when they put up the big tent so that he could back it in just right. And then Kevin loaned us his guy that works for him all the time, Neil, who is here today.
My name is Neil Montgomery. I grew up in the Northeast, moved to Colorado 10 years ago. Met Kevin Sherrod, who introduced me to Cookie, and said to go over and help Cookie out for an afternoon.
Neil was a tremendous amount of help. And, you know, there was just tons of stuff to move around. We didn't have enough space, we didn't have enough buildings. We had to move it in and out of trailers and just make room for what we could. And the tent, of course, just came in a couple, 3 days before the auction, so then we could set stuff up out in it. We were going to use a smaller tent. They couldn't find all the pieces. Right. So like everything else, you have to have the right tools. And they just weren't there. So we still used it though somehow, so they must have managed to get it set up. We just had so much stuff, we were just we gave away a lot. Really unusual to have like a yard sale, and so we just put out things that we just, weren't very valuable.
This is the $10 table. This is the $5 table. Some of this stuff is worth more than what we're pricing it at, but it's priced to sell, folks.
Raymond?
This is a $2.50 table here. Cheap. But they're not cheaply made.
It wasn't how we normally get ready for an auction. Yeah, we had arrowheads and pictures and paintings and bronzes and lamps, and there was just so much that it's hard to remember. Remember the big life-size cowboy?
For insulation,
500.
500.
Whoa!
7.5.
It's cheap, guys.
Sell it to a Western store. Yeah!
Cowboy coming.
Got dead weight.
Cowboy's coming through.
No stamps. No stamps. No stamps.
Right there, $100 there.
I remember a Russian sleigh.
You know what? I moved in from Indiana not long ago, and a sleigh like this would probably bring $2,500, $3,000 out in Indiana.
And then there was a carriage.
For in the quarter.
Now let's get it up.
25, you can get 325. 325.
There was just such a massive amount of things that I can't even remember what all it was. We had a big sign that said Lockhart's, but fortunately a niece came up, or a great niece from Canada, came to the auction, and so she bought it. Yeah, we had some guns that was my dad's. Unfortunately, some of the things had already been stolen that was my dad's, so that's what keeps going through my head.
Right there, right there, right there, something give me 300, 350, yeah, $300, 350.
Yeah, there were things like that they're my dad's. And then there was a buck and horse picture of my brother.
If you're gonna sell that, I just want a little caveat here. If somebody wanted it and requested it, we didn't plan on selling it, but I want to be able to take it to the photographic shop down here, where they put them into the computer, because that's really the only one that I have. That was on the front page of the Denver Post, 1954, and the horse's name was Babyface. Can you hold it up a little bit higher for just a minute?
Yes, 1 second.
Okay, and that's my brother Darwin, and that was a very, very famous picture because the photographer actually won first place that year with that picture of all the sports that there was.
And I sold it, but fortunately I had a cousin that come over that bought it, so I told him I wasn't giving it to him until I made a copy first. And that was a very famous buck and horse picture of my brother, which had been, on the wall there for the last 50 years. And so that would have been hard if I hadn't got a copy made first. My dad did train horses a lot, and he loved Palominos and Belgium draft horses.
My dad was training this horse to sit down with him. A horse looks like it's got some grain in front of it, but he was having coffee with the horse.
We did have a lot of saddles, just using saddles, and some were decorators just to decorate with. And it's hard to decipher because, like I said, we had an Old West store. We had a lot of boots, but we sold a lot of boots. Remember, I sold my best pair of boots to the American Pickers from that show. That was what was hard to sell. One auctioneer came from somewhere in the Midwest. And
Smile.
Now we're going inside.
Thank you. Oh, thanks, Cookie. You bet. All right, check those out.
All right, guys, take choice on the wheels. Take choice on the wheels. 1, 2, 3 times your money. Here we go. Now 50, now 100. Now $75, now 50, 75.
Yeah, we had a lot of wagon wheels that we decorated with, that people bought to, you know, just to decorate their house with, put outside, put on the lawn. And those wagon wheels had been there forever. They were my dad's. I had them repainted, but we always had wagon wheels everywhere. But we did have a lot of Roy Rogers. We had a whole uncut big picture of Roy Rogers and Dale Evans in cards. And we had a lot of games too that we didn't mention. Games that are collectible that they used to play. You know, like the cards where I remember from the VFW, where you pay $1 or $2 and then punch. It was a punch card and you might win $10. We have several of those. And yeah, now that you bring it up, I keep thinking of other things that we did sell that was interesting. Ringmen are really, really important because they are the liaison between the auctioneer and the buyer. And a buyer will often ask a ringman something privately that they don't want to say out loud. And they might have a question about whether it's real estate or it's a vehicle. You know, they might want to know something that they're just not as comfortable. So they will ask a ringman, and they will bid to ringmen a lot of times. When you are selling and you've got the microphone, you can't really talk to people on a one-on-one basis. And so that's why your ringmen are really, really important.
All right. And what do you think on here? A $20 bill? $20 bill there, what do you get? 20, 20, 20, what do you get? 20, 20, what do you get? 10, and give me 10. $10 bill there, what do you get? 15. $10, there, what do you get? 15, 15, 15, now 20, now 20. I got 15 back here, now 20, now. I got this guy right here at 15, guys, and now 20. 20, now 5. 5 and a bit, 25, 25 and a get 25. You're out, Sean, 25. 25 and a get 25, 25 and a get 25. 25, 25. So, $20. Neil Way, what's your number, Neil?
And I had both Sean Hagler and Von Long.
Yes!
17 and I am 15, 17 and I am 15, I'm over here, 17 and I am 15, 17 and I am so 15,
30.
And they are really two of the best. They have both won international titles as ringmen, and they have started their own ringman school. So they're going to have their second session in March. And so they had me give a seminar at their school last time. And I'm sure they'll do really well because they're both excellent.
$100, $100, $100.
I'm going to the one here, the 125. I'm going to the one here, quarter, 150, 150 to the 50, 50 to the one here, 50 to the 50 to the 130, 125, 130, 125 is in the back, going to be $130 on it, and 125 here to the 30, now 30, now 30, all in, all done. So, 125 off number 79.
I just think that ringmen are really, really important, and that so many people that do not understand auctions don't understand the significance of a ringman. To me, they're more important than the auctioneer. They keep the action going, and you're right, they were very supportive. An auction takes a lot of energy, so after every auction, you know, you need some recoup time. It takes a lot of energy to sell any kind of an auction. You know, I'd like to keep doing as long as I can, helping people with what I've spent my whole life learning how to do.
Yeah, if they want to, if you wanted to sign it, it costs you an extra.
Yes!
$39, $39, $49, $50, $40, $150, $50, $60, $60.
It was a quarter then, it's a quarter now. You want my picture?